What is that?
Guess I'm recording.
That's just how she's supposed
How do you do this?
Is it? It's one of the new and improved aspects. What's that? What? Oh, okay.
Mom, Dad, over here too.
Okay. I'm trying to get the lighting so as the photographer shows up. Right? Okay. Is this video too?
Yes,
Yeah,
right
See
here.
it for perpetuate?
Oh no, it's going up on YouTube.
The scary part about this is you're going to have on recorded film probably several words that I will have made up. So please don't try and research them in any way. Obviously, we're all here for one particular event. That event is to commission Melanie Artis as an ensign in the United States Navy. There's a variety of different things, methods, strategies, POA&Ms, you name it, ways to get this accomplished. But the end state is kind of like a marriage, a divorce. Sorry, those weren't meant in order. But a wedding, a retirement, and that is there are only two things that have to happen for her to be commissioned. The first is she has to sign paperwork, shockingly enough. Get used to it.
Yes, sir.
The second is to be sworn in by a commissioned officer, right? So we're here to do the second part. She's actually already signed the paperwork. So lest you think this is just a ceremony and it's really just a thought process, this is a secondary and one of only two things she has to do in order to be commissioned. So there are a bunch of other items associated with that, pinning on bars, rendering first salute, and that really brings me to really four things I want to talk about. The first is what it means to be a commissioned officer. A commissioned officer, are most of you aware of what it means to be a commissioned officer? Who is the only person in the United States that has command over military forces that isn't a commissioned officer? The President of the United States. How does he come into office? He is an elected representative. He has the moral and ethical responsibility for the United States to use every aspect of U.S. power in order to ensure our strategic interests are in play, to include the military, right? So, as a commissioned officer, you're a commissioned officer because you are given that commission to serve on behalf of the President to support the Constitution and the course it directs. Now, when we do the commissioning oath here in a moment, one thing you'll notice specifically for those who are enlisted or for those who might have seen a re-enlistment, the officer oath is different. You do not swear allegiance to the President nor the officers appointed over you. You swear allegiance to the Constitution and the country whose course it directs. Because take a step back. If you're a commissioned officer, you're commissioned, right? You're doing the moral and ethical responsibility. The President is entrusting that upon you. So when he's doing that, you're not going to swear allegiance to yourself, right? So that doesn't make sense. So what you're doing is swearing allegiance to exactly what the President is elected to do, and that is guide the country in accordance with the Constitution. All right? So that's a little bit about being commissioned. The next aspect that comes to mind, she's going to be commissioned an ensign. So why in the hell would you commission yourself to be a flag in the United States Navy? Does anybody know where that came from? All right? In early times, meaning probably 16, 17, 1800s, the way you did battlefield maneuvers was via flags. And that's how you move troops around. That's also how you rally troops. You ran by your flag, you moved troops. Our Army brethren here will know this quite well. To be able to move on the battlefield required flags. You wouldn't give a non-commissioned officer a flag duty because they had to be a leader. And so but you also didn't want your senior officers to be killed quickly because the officers who carried the flag were often cut down pretty quickly. So in terms, what started out was they started calling the junior officer carrying the flag the ensign bearer, which then got shortened to ensign. The Army did away with that rank in about the 1861-62 time frame, but the Navy continues to hold on to that. So that's where that came from. All right. After the ceremony, you're going to render your first salute. Do you know where that came from? Okay. Do you know where that came from? Oh, bearer of the good fortune thereof. All right. Most people think that's pretty goofy tradition. It is $1 silver for one first salute. You can only have one first salute, right? Okay. The issue is when you salute her, what you are doing is essentially rendering the cultural obligation to serve her, because that's what your pay was worth when you were first, when she would be first commissioned. That's how much your pay was worth. Was it? Good one. Good. That's good. But that's where that came from, and it came for. But that really gets us to the most important tradition, and that is the wedding down, which I think will have to happen after you come back from Afghanistan. But the wedding down, which has politically corrected us, the PC writ large, has turned into more or less a drink or two on behalf of your new rank. It actually was a no kidding commission in the United States Navy of wetting down your uniform. So if you got commissioned in this uniform, and some 150 years ago, this entire uniform would be soaked with rum and beer, okay, that you would have paid for.
You would have been sweet.
Nobody else pays for it, right? So a couple little items to let you know that this is some of the customs and traditions of the United States Navy, the military and the Department of Defense and the United States writ large. We take some of them from a variety of different parts of our past, but most importantly, what we take out of that is the fact that we are entrusting you with a position in our military to be able to show that moral and ethical responsibility that the president comes at. You will serve on behalf of the president, and you will execute in accordance with the Constitution and the country who is forcing you. That make sense? Anybody have any? This is kind of like the part where I always like to say, from a wedding perspective, anybody have any reason to believe that Melanie Artis should not be commissioned in the United States Navy? Speak now, forever hold your peace. I was able to get that out in one breath. By the way, I like to keep things kind of light, right? Because formal occasions can be just that, a little too over formal and overbearing. You never remember it. Remember what the hell was actually said and how it was said. But the idea is to remember as much as you can, and most importantly, understand that this is an honorable and, quite frankly, a joyous occasion. And therefore, anybody who has a frown on their face or a scowl, so anybody looking in the sun, look the other way for a minute so you can smile for a second, right? But the idea is, congratulations yet again. Before we swear you in, I can't thank you guys enough for bringing Melanie in this world and training her to the degree. Thank you for entrusting her to the United States Navy and to the National Security Agency for the work that she's doing. Most importantly, thank you for the sacrifice. I know Melanie is going to go forward next week. She's in good hands. A lot of folks here are going to be taking care of her while she is out there, as well as the folks who are out there. So I know, being a father myself, I can't sit here and say, sleep easy, it'll be okay, because I know damn well you're not going to believe me, right? So until she comes back, and we look forward to that as well. Okay? You ready? Anything to say as Miss Artis before you become Ensign Artis?
No. Just shaking in my boots up here. Good to go.
Shaking in your boots. All right. Well, here we go. Raise your right hand. Repeat after me. I state your full name.
I, Melanie K. Artis.
Do solemnly swear or affirm
Do solemnly swear
that I will support and defend
that I will support and defend
the Constitution of the United States of America
the Constitution of the United States of America
against all enemies, foreign and domestic.
against all enemies, foreign and domestic,
That I will continue to bear true faith and allegiance
that I will continue to bear true faith and allegiance
to the Constitution
to the Constitution
and the country whose course it directs.
and the country whose course it directs,
That I take this obligation freely
that I take this obligation freely
without any mental reservation.
without any mental reservation.
So help me God.
So help me God.
Congratulations. That's it. I'll let her. It's okay. We'll find it. We'll do it. But it's on her butt.
He's just starting to move. There you go.
Thank you. Okay, well, we can exactly work everything out here. Thank you all so much for coming out. I can't tell you how long I've worked for this and how much this really means to me. It's been 3 years. There's some of you who have been through here with me the entire time, and I can't wait to embark on this new part of my life. And when I get back from Afghanistan, then we'll see where my career takes me, and hopefully I'll be able to stay in the Navy for quite some time. So, that's it. Very short and sweet. Unlike me, very short and sweet.